Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is my privilege to be able to speak to you today about a gentleman that most of you have come to know well, Mr. Carlisle Currier. What words come to mind when you hear the name Carlisle Currier? Integrity, trust, commitment, leadership? Like many of us, Carlisle started his Farm Bureau career many years ago as a member of a county board. When Carlisle started on that county board, I'm guessing that he could have little imagined the journey that would bring him here today. Carlisle has grown in his leadership abilities on his Colorado Farm Bureau journey. He is an articulate, informed, and ardent advocate for agriculture. He has built relationships within Farm Bureau, with other ag organizations, and with entities outside of agriculture. Carlisle is a respected leader that people trust to be honest, reasonable, and fair, all while being an ardent advocate for agriculture. I dare say that there are few people that know Farm Bureau policy in as much detail as Mr. Currier. Carlisle has devoted untold hours through his dedicated service to the betterment of agriculture, his community, and Colorado in general. Carlisle has the knowledge and experience to lead Colorado Farm Bureau into the future, and I fully believe he will make us all proud. Mr. Chairman, it is my honor to nominate someone I consider to be a great man and a good friend, Mr. Carlisle Currier, to serve as President of Colorado Farm Bureau for a term of 2 years. Thank you.
Audrey Rock, Yuma County. I second the nomination for Carlisle Currier for Colorado Farm Bureau President.
Good afternoon, Colorado Farm Bureau. I want to begin by thanking you for the great opportunity I've had the last 10 years to serve this organization as Vice President. It's been a wonderful growing experience for me. I've learned a lot, and I've certainly been able to work with a lot of really wonderful people and see a lot of great things done in this organization. I want to give a shout out to Don. He has been a great president the last 10 years. He's been a great mentor to me. I really appreciate what he has done for this organization, and hope that we can continue to build on that foundation that he has created. Colorado is becoming a much different state than it used to be. It's changed very rapidly. We in agriculture are becoming a smaller and smaller minority, which makes it more and more difficult to get our message to people. But it's very important that we do that. We have to let both our decision makers, whether they be politicians, regulators, etc., and the general public, know what is important to Colorado agriculture, and not just why it's important for agriculture, but why it's important for the very values that they want to see in Colorado, for the kind of Colorado that everyone wants to have. The political climate in Colorado has changed rapidly in recent years. We've had a very significant swing to the left in terms of political philosophy. Is that a permanent change, or are we going to a pendulum going to swing back and go back to more where we've been in the past? I certainly can't answer that question. I would hope for the latter, but I don't think we can depend on that. We have to be ready to meet the challenges of a diversity of people that don't understand much about agriculture. They need to understand why agriculture is important, why the very policies that make agriculture successful not only benefit agriculture, but benefit the state as a whole. I've had the opportunity over the last few years to meet with some of these people that are not by nature necessarily our best friends. I've particularly serving on the IBCC and the water community, I've had to work with a number of individuals who have much different goals than we have in agriculture. But I think I've been very successful in showing them that what is good for irrigated agriculture in Colorado is good for the very values that they seek as well. It's been a growing experience and one we have to continue to work on. As we move forward in Colorado Farm Bureau, we have a tremendous foundation. It's been built by great leaders in the past. Over the last 10 years as vice president, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of very good people, the opportunity to work with very good staff, and a very good board. I appreciate all those who have helped me succeed in my role as vice president of this organization. As we move forward in Colorado Farm Bureau, we are still the organization that is going to see that we carry out that mission to promote Colorado agriculture and Colorado rural values. We need to continue to build upon the great foundation we have, and I think we're structured so that we can do that. There's a lot of things changing in Colorado Farm Bureau, and many of them for good. I certainly like to see the growing involvement of younger people. We've certainly have more young people involved in Farm Bureau than we did a few years ago, and that's a wonderful change, and I think speaks very highly for the future. I look forward to working with the new members of the board, to work with our staff that we have continuing and any new staff who come. And I think we have the opportunity to make Colorado Farm Bureau a stronger organization than ever and a better, stronger voice for agriculture in Colorado. I really thank you for the opportunity you've given me. I ask for your support as president of Colorado Farm Bureau, and I pledge that I will do all I can to serve you, the members, the best that I can. Thank you again for your support, and I think I want to be very thankful for what Farm Bureau has provided for me and my family. I'm in a position right now where my son is back home and able to take over part of the ranch operation, so I can be gone more and devote more time to the organization. Support of my family has been very important, and I just ask once again that you support me for president of Colorado Farm Bureau, and I think our best years as an organization can still be in front of us. Thank you.
Hello, Nathan Combs from Canas County, and I would like to nominate James Henderson to be the Vice President of Colorado Farm Bureau. I've known James for a long time here in the community and as a neighbor. He's been very involved in a lot of different boards and capacities, whether it's a ditch or our basin roundtable or our water users group. But one thing that I've really respected about James is his ability to ask good questions, to find out what the real issues are, find out what the situation is, to make a good decision on what the outcome should be. He always does a good job of trying to reach across the aisle, if you will, to understand the other side's situation and what their issues are. He's always had a big desire to improve himself and the communities and the organizations that he serves. He has participated in most of the Farm Bureau's leadership development programs. He was actually the first water rights holder to complete the Water Education Colorado's Water Leaders course. He has gone outside of his comfort zones to learn, to grow, and to develop himself so that he can serve better. So just like a rising tide will raise all boats in the harbor, when you get someone like James who's committed to improvement, whether it's individually or as a group or as a community, we need that type of leadership in Farm Bureau. So again, I nominate James Henderson to be Vice President of Colorado Farm Bureau. Thank you.
I'm Kylie Henderson and would like to second the nomination of James as the Vice President of Farm Bureau. As his wife, I get to know him personally and can speak for the purity in his motives to be the Vice President. His desires are stemming from a place of service and wanting to guarantee Colorado agriculture isn't legislated out of business. He has built working relationships with several legislators currently in office. He was invited to a meeting with Senator Bennett last month because his staff knew James would be a critical voice to have in the conversation. He's been invited on the House floor by one of our state representatives and been to the White House for the signing of the USMCA, to mention a few things. These relationships were in part built because James is an effective communicator. He's able to articulate the needs and concerns of those in ag. And probably most importantly, he's willing to listen and learn from others. He conducts the family business and himself with integrity. He always advocates for what he believes is right and works very hard to provide for our family. And I know he will work just as hard for yours. As a family, we support James's decision to run for Vice President and know he would be a leader worthy of your trust. Thank you.
My name is James Henderson, and it's with a reverence to the legacy of this organization, with a great amount of enthusiasm for our future, and with humility that I accept this nomination. I wish we could have been together for our annual meeting to see old friends and to participate in the camaraderie that comes from our business session. Most of all, I miss seeing the members and the strength and the comfort that come from knowing that we do not face our challenges alone. I have faith we'll soon be able to get together and partake of that fellowship again. But until then, I know we remain united and committed to our mission of promoting and protecting Colorado agriculture. My family's been farming and ranching here in Colorado since 1882. Here on our farm in Knapp County, we still have our cow-calf, hay, and small grain operation. As the fifth generation to run this farm on a daily basis, I understand that I am the beneficiary of a legacy of hard work, sacrifice, and of vision. Little did I know when I married my wife Kylie how much we would add to that legacy. We've been blessed with 4 beautiful, intelligent, and rambunctious kids. And, if you haven't heard, 1 more is on the way. To work side by side with our children on the farm and see them learn the life-enriching principles of hard work, responsibility, stewardship, and that we live in a sowing and reaping world not only fills our hearts with joy, but their grandparents' hearts as well. As for the occasional vocabulary lesson that may come when we work cows together, you'll have to ask their Sunday school teachers about that. But to hear these little ones pray for our crops and cattle give us a sense of purpose and a sense of joy. That is a legacy worth protecting. Many of you have similar stories and similar legacies. Many of you are just starting to write the first couple chapters of your own Colorado agricultural legacy. In today's world, building, maintaining, and protecting that legacy goes far beyond the farm gate. Whether through intent or ignorance, there are individuals and forces that would seek to erode or even remove the building blocks upon which Colorado agriculture rests. The elections can leave no doubt that the rural-urban divide is here and it is real, and that gives us an urgent and essential work to do. But I do not despair in this. I find hope. It's a hope that's founded in another legacy, the legacy of Colorado Farm Bureau. That legacy is built upon grassroots policy. If we will couple grassroots policy with the principles of integrity, respect, and resolve, and let that become our guiding doctrine, there are no challenges that we can't face with confidence. We must continue to fight for Colorado farmers and ranchers whenever and wherever needed, whether at the Capitol, the ballot box, or the courthouse. With our guiding doctrine, we will engage in new, strategic, dynamic, and disciplined ways to achieve the outcomes that we need. I feel called to lead in this work. I feel called to serve the membership of this organization. And because the membership of this organization is good, we will be great. Because you are good, the burden of service will be light. I commit to you as your vice president that I will serve with integrity, respect, and humility. I commit to you that we will enrich the grassroots policy process through dynamic engagement and information sharing. We will strengthen our membership in our county so that we can implement our policy at all levels. I promise every day that I work for you as your vice president, I will give my best efforts. And because your family's legacy is as important to me as my family legacy, that is the effort that I will give. I ask today, not only for your vote, but for your help, that you will come and stand shoulder to shoulder with me and lean into this work. Because with the strength and the unity of our membership, there is no challenge that we can't face, no opportunity that we can't seize. And with the strength and unity of our membership, we can write the future of Colorado agriculture and our legacies. Thank you for your time.
Greetings, Farm Bureau members. My name is Tim Brown, and I'm from Lincoln County Farm Bureau. I am here to nominate Jeff Thornton for Vice President of the Colorado Farm Bureau. I really feel that Jeff is a very good fit for the position of Vice President. He has a very well-rounded background. Having come from West Cliffs, he gets the mountains. And he's lived out here on the Eastern Plains. He understands crops, he understands water or the lack of it. And he's also been around Farm Bureau for a long time, running through the ranks of the YF&R program, and then on up into serving on the board of directors for 2 terms. And I know Jeff has took some time off from that board, but he's always been very active in his local county Farm Bureau board, whether being the president or the vice president. He is a very intelligent man, and I would like to throw my support and ask for your vote for Jeff Thornton. Thank you. Have a good meeting.
Good afternoon. I'm Emily Bailey from Lincoln County, and I proudly second the motion for Jeff Thornton as Vice President of Colorado Farm Bureau. Jeff has been an integral part of our county for many, many years and truly has a heart of servant leadership. I highly recommend and urge each of you to please vote in favor of Jeff Thornton being Farm Bureau Vice President.
Hi, I am Jade Marcus, the Crowley County Farm Bureau President and the District 4 YF&R representative. I am seconding the nomination for Jeff Thornton as Colorado Farm Bureau Vice President. Jeff will strive to work for the membership of Farm Bureau and work towards the goals of Farm Bureau at the best of his abilities. This is the reason why I second the nomination for Jeff Thornton as the Colorado Farm Bureau Vice President.
Hello, my name is Jeff Thornton. I would like to thank my nominating team for their vote of confidence. By now, you all know who I am. I'm asking for your vote for Vice President. Thank you for your time, and I would appreciate your vote.
Good afternoon, Colorado Farm Bureau members. I have been attending Colorado Farm Bureau annual meetings since Phyllis Snyder twisted my arm in 2002. As a newcomer interested in Colorado Farm Bureau policy and the process that is used to develop that policy, I quietly watched the process and those who engaged in the discussion. While all made good points, Mark Arnish impressed me with his knowledge of farming issues and all that is involved. Whether it was water, private property, farm bill, or other policy being discussed, Mark had a good handle on the issues and always presented his point of view in a constructive, respectful, and concise manner. Mark is a third-generation farmer and is the owner-operator of the family-owned diversified row crop and agriculture business operation. He specializes in growing value-added crops, including certified wheat, malt barley seed, and corn and alfalfa. Farming near urban areas gives Mark a unique perspective and understanding of the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead of us. In the field, in the public, or in a boardroom, Mark is a leader. His education, experience, and leadership skills makes him an excellent choice for Colorado Farm Bureau Vice President. With a degree in agriculture economics, Mark returned to the family farm in 1995, focusing on quality and innovation. He has served in many leadership capacities in ag organizations, such as Colorado Corn Administrative Committee, Colorado Farm Bureau, and as a governor appointee to the Renewable Energy Mandate Committee, and as a commissioner to the Colorado Groundwater Commission. He also served as the American Farm Bureau National Water Policy Advisory Committee. Mark has been recognized by multiple entities as a leader. He was recognized as one of America's best young farmers and ranchers for his operations innovation by the Progressive Farmer magazine. He is also recognized as a rising star in agriculture by the Colorado Agriculture Hall of Fame and as a who's who in Colorado agriculture by the Denver Business Journal. Mark's attention to detail, constant drive to improve, and highly innovative approach that has made his farming operation one of the premier operations in the state will be an asset to Colorado Farm Bureau. Mark has served on the Colorado Farm Bureau board for 8 years and as treasurer for the past year. Mark offers the experience and stability in the field and in the boardroom that Colorado Farm Bureau will need given the number of new board members and all that lay ahead for agriculture in these uncertain times. For these reasons, Mr. Chairman, I nominate Mark Arnish for the office of Vice President for Colorado Farm Bureau. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Jerky. I'm a Weld County Farm Bureau Director, and I've got a whole bunch of background myself, but today I'm here to second the nomination of Mark Arnish to be the Vice President of Colorado Farm Bureau. I'm excited to do that. Mark is literally the face of agriculture in Colorado today. He's been one of the most aggressive and dominant farmers in Weld and Morgan counties, current president of Morgan County, and he simply understands markets, understands how to grow the product, he understands today's consumers, and I think he'll be a wonderful addition to Colorado Farm Bureau. I proudly second the nomination of Mark Arnish for Vice President of Colorado Farm Bureau.
It gives me a lot of pleasure to be able to have the opportunity to second the nomination for Mark Arnish for Vice President of Colorado Farm Bureau. He has been in agriculture his whole life and early on served as Vice President and President of Colorado Corn. Later, he served as President of Weld County Farm Bureau and then as Morgan County Farm Bureau. He has most recently served 4 terms on the state board for Colorado Farm Bureau, and then on the national level at American Farm Bureau, he has been on the Wheat Policy Advisory Committee. He has served on the Sugar Policy Advisory Committee, and he has served on the Water Policy Advisory Committee. I think Mark has a great deal to offer and has a good understanding from top to bottom of the Colorado Farm Bureau mission and the Colorado Farm Bureau community. So I proudly nominate him I proudly provide him with a second on his nomination. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Colorado Farm Bureau members. Welcome to my family's operation here in Southeast Weld County. My name is Mark Arnish, and I'm candidate for the Vice Presidency of the Colorado Farm Bureau. My family is steeped in a lot of history and tradition, and it all started many years ago when my family immigrated to this country from Austria. They came here to grow sugar beets, pinto beans, and wheat. And today we focus on growing certified seed wheat, certified seed barley, grains for the craft beer industry, as well as livestock ingredients like corn and alfalfa. Do you remember a time when we could stand around the tailgate of a pickup, solve all the world's problems, come up with the strategy of tomorrow, and right all the world's wrongs? I sure do, and that's the reason why I've chosen to run for the vice president of this organization. You see, it's about getting back to fundamentals. It's getting back to what we've done as an organization to be the greatest ag organization in the state. I believe in putting the membership first. Grassroots starts with you, the member, and it's time that we refocus our efforts on listening to you. I believe it also is important that we begin to rebuild the county structures to make that the viable tool that it is, to grow our membership, to grow our voice, and to grow our influence in not just the state capital, but also locally at home. It's about building a stronger voice, one that's not just agriculture, not just farmers and ranchers, but that of all of rural Colorado. You see, we live in a very blue state, but that doesn't mean where we stand and what we believe in needs to change. What changes is our conversation. It's how it's focused. It's how it's framed. It's being relevant in that conversation. After all, we're trying to move opinions at the Capitol, at the ballot box, and even in our small communities, but we must remain relevant. We must remain relevant to you, the member. We must be relevant in the conversation about agriculture, and we must be relevant in the conversation of moving Colorado forward. The office of vice president is key in pulling this off. And I believe the next vice president of this organization can't be trained on the job. That individual needs to be ready day one. The last 8 years of serving on the state board and being fortunate to be the president of the Weld and Morgan County Farm Bureaus and participating on the AFBF level with my Water Policy Advisory Committee, the Sugar Committee, and the Wheat Committee has prepared me for just that. But I've also experienced leadership as the president and vice president of Colorado Corn. I'm the vice chairman of the Colorado Groundwater Commission. But more importantly, I've had a front row seat to witness two of the finest leaders our organization has ever had, President Don Shawcroft and soon to be President Carlisle Currier. That experience matters. And the history and the tradition of our organization matters. I'm the only candidate in this race that can build a bridge between the history and tradition of our organization, coupled with the hands-on leadership of today, with a vision for tomorrow. The last 17 years as a Farm Bureau member has taught me a lot. And hopefully in that time, you've learned a great deal about me. I hope that you've learned that I lead with a steady hand. I hope you've built confidence as me as a leader. I hope I've earned your trust. But today, I ask for your vote. You see, nothing's more important to me than the vice presidency of the Colorado Farm Bureau as a means for me to continue servicing the people that I care about most. And that's you, the member. It's you, my family. And that's us, the Colorado Farm Bureau. It's time to get back to our tradition. It's time to get back to doing those things that made us who we are. It's time to get back to these tailgate conversations. I thank you for your consideration here. Vote Mark for vice president. It means the world to me to continue my service to this organization. Thank you and enjoy the rest of today's events.